He has not confessed. He has made no statement. Charges of murder have been accepted against him.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
Okay, so I've had this trailer for 3 years, and in that time, there's like 3 goddamn people in this trailer I still respect. But no one I still talk to. I mean, I could reach out to Crown Prince, who's always the consummate professional, but life has moved on. Animated James, the person who was the biggest star in this trailer, has moved on from YouTube entirely, as far as I could tell. There's having a goddamn trailer with Toon Critic. It feels like the fact I had this up here for so long as I did, it was hurting the channel more than anything else. I will talk to my current fans, but that's going to be at the end. Yes, I do think it'll be worth it. But the channel trailer is here to rope in new people. You guys are already subbed. Hi, I'm FNGR. I sell drama and drama accessories. I've noticed whenever I've talked about Digibro, Lillipede, or much more recently, Kero the Wolf, well, moreover Kero, my channel tends to be a bit more successful. There are bigger gains to be had. There's something to be said about stepping outside of someone's comfort zone. And I'm going to be heading into no man's land. First,
It's pretty involved with some high-profile people. Dio, Dogpatch Press, Voxler, Andreas Wolf, and a few others. But like I said, it's pretty much impossible to keep up with and explain my thoughts adequately because of the limitations of the platform.
the name of the video that's taken from is called Nazi Fur in Twitter Fun. The reason why I grabbed that clip, this clip from Kothrix, is simple. It gets the name of who I'm talking about next. Dogpatch Press. Oh boy. This is the moment of no return, and I'm going to set the stage. I've had a couple of people in the past, not particularly amazing people, moral-wise, tell me that Dogpatch Press goes around calling people Nazis. If you aren't tuned in to recent events, I'm going to explain to you why this is concerning. Certain people try to dog whistle to the alt-left, people on the far-left liberal fringe, where there are such things as socialism, communism, and worst of all, terrorist organizations known as antifa. A long time ago, 4 to 5 years ago, I looked at a community that was on the rise. I wanted a piece of that pie. And in that time, I feel I had developed some skills, or at least the ability to use what I had in a way to entertain an audience. Don't worry, I will have a direct way to connect all this together in regards to Dogpatch Press. And don't worry, it does get worse. This will be relevant to cleaning up the furry fandom. And this is from Newsweek, not an alternative media source of news, though I do feel those are gaining a lot of usefulness, and the mainstream media has all but entirely abandoned any pretext of impartialness. That said, let's give this a read. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has formally classified the activities of anti-fascist groups Antifa as domestic terrorist violence. Since early 2016, according to the confidential law enforcement documents obtained by Politico and interviews, federal authorities have reportedly warned state and local officials that Antifa has become increasingly confrontational in efforts to thwart white supremacist groups. Newly disclosed documents show authorities believed anarchist extremists were the main cause of violence at a number of public rallies. A confidential 2016 joint intelligence assessment by DHS and the FBI blamed Antifa for attacks on a range of targets, including police, government, institutions, and symbols of the capitalist system. According to Politico, interviews showed federal authorities really became cognitive of the Antifa amid the rise of Donald Trump, and law enforcement officials have claimed Trump's rhetoric and policies helped galvanize the left-wing extremists in the US. One senior law enforcement official reportedly stated, "It was in that period, as the Trump campaign emerged, that we really became aware of them. These Antifa guys were showing up, helmets, and just beating the hell out of people. They're using Molotov cocktails, they're starting fires, they're throwing bombs, and smashing windows." Law enforcement officials have apparently been taken aback by the swift rise of Antifa, about which they still have much to learn and have struggled to come up with an organized response. The dynamic of Antifa are complex. It claims to have no leaders or hierarchy, but officials believe members coordinate through a decentralized network of cells and political reports. The FBI and DHS were reportedly unwilling to elaborate on any of these to Politico, given the materials the publication obtained were never supposed to be publicly disclosed. Anti-fascist groups have been around for decades, some emerging during the early 20th century, but it wasn't until the recent tragic events at Charlottesville, Virginia, that Antifa became a large part of the public discourse. President Trump controversially blamed the violence that occurred at Charlottesville on many sides, and has contended that the media hasn't focused enough on the role that Antifa played. Keep in mind, this will be relevant for our good friend Dogpatch Press. Right now, if you're in the audience going, well, that's only because of Madrumph, I'm going to show you a disturbing video about Antifa.
Pictures and recordings have developed giving antifa activists holding a hint demonstrating their help and duty in shielding pedophiles. The far-left Residential Fear-Based Oppressor Association challenged Mike Sternovich's discourse at Columbia University on Monday night, cautioning that they would fiercely assault anyone who contradicted pedophilia or bolstered free discourse.
Now, for those of you who aren't happy with a silly image, here's the original video.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
And people have claimed that this banner, or whatever you want to call it, was snuck out there. So I gotta ask you this camera guy managed to trick this many people from a dangerous terrorist organization into holding up a banner that is pro-pedophile and get out of there alive while holding a camera. Which do you think is more likely? Some random anon all by himself did this, or it was much more likely that Antifa was just cool with it, just a little Occam's razor? So do ask yourself, what does this have to do with Dogpatch Press? Well,
fucking deer.
Did somebody say fucking deer? Hey you guys, Poppy Fur YouTuber here, Kero the Wolf, back with another crazy video.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Today I'm gonna show you the top 10 uses for roadkill deer blood.
So, are you from AAA?
Remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and support me on Patreon. Ooh!
So you just came from the woods, or?
The first life hack for deer blood is as a natural lubricant for when you want to go in on that mangled deer ass. Am I right, boys? Oh dear, leave a comment with your favorite part of fucking a deer corpse.
Yeah, it's me. Send in the big guns.
this is from Mythical Red Fox, Fear, Loathing in the Furry Fandom, Kero the Wolf. Did you see the name on the app? The Antifa Super Soldier Hotline. Now, the far left is routinely known for using such tactics as calling everyone Nazis, but we'll get to that, Dogpatch Press. It's weird, the only Kero the Wolf video that Dogpatch Press showed on Kero was the one that blew Antifa. It's almost like that there was a political agenda attached. Now, I know what you're thinking, FNGR. You're just butthurt that Dogpatch Press didn't feature your video. He could have featured Mr. Metokur's video, or he could have gone to some of the more lower tier, smaller channels. He could have gone to Wait Fix8's channel, linked down below, which explored that this all happened mostly because they wanted to expose Snake Thing for his horrendous actions, or the proof that Kira's house matched up with some of the videos that were floating around over on Aquinas Audax. I'm sure I'm still butchering that. Links down below as well. The video is Kero is evil, proof that Kero the Wolf raped his dog. Wow, the fact I have that in my channel trailer. Holy hell. But oh no, the Dogpatch Press decided the video that would best serve the furry fandom, and I mean by the furry fandom, he picked a video that attempted to pick apart PK Russell. Now, I understand there's a bit of hypocrisy in what I'm doing here by starting up some drama. Well, FNGR. And you might say, well, FNGR, you should be talking about Kero, not some pointless infighting. Not even Mr. Metokur is doing that right now. I mean, there are already videos on Metokur's channel taking apart Antifa.
All the press coverage asking the question, is it okay to hit people? Is it okay to punch people I disagree with? Is that okay? This one in particular is my favorite of the whole bunch. Is it okay to punch a Nazi in the face? Leading ethicist weighs in. Is it okay to put a cat in a bag and slam it against the wall? I don't know. Leading ethicists haven't written an article about it. Where do I get my morality from? Surely not common sense. I can't use that in the current year. That's insane. I need BuzzFeed to ask a Mexican intellectual to talk to his best friend who happens to be a leading ethicist if it's okay to do that or not. And then I've got to wait for the answer to get back to me. Boy, it's all well and good to advocate nonviolence. You know, nonviolence is the answer, said the guy that just threw a right hook at you. But when they start getting hit back, boy, they don't like that very much. It's not so much fun anymore, is it? When you start getting punched back. Now, I know some of you might say, wait a minute, why would you even bring up Richard Spencer? What does that have to do with all the protests going on? Well, they love to call people Nazis. And the people showing up at these protests all over the country, when it's anti-Trump something, or anti-alt-right, or anti-right-wing, or anti-conservative, are Antifa. What's Antifa, Jim? Well, the short answer is, it's the kid you didn't let up in the treehouse. You know, the one never invited over to a sleepover? That's who Antifa is. It's the kid that gets driven to a Starbucks in his mother's Prius.
Maybe I'm doing a bad thing right now, but let's be honest. It's gonna only be a matter of time before I myself, someone who's a half Mexican, winds up being called a Nazi for daring to shit on Antifa. Am I right, Dogpatch? But you know what? Maybe Dogpatch Press is one of the good uns. Maybe I'm judging him wrong. Maybe I'm just not being fair.
By this later, but needless to say, it triggered a few people. Dogpatch replied with, "They're called collaborators. It's possible to be gay and homophobic at the same time. Look at politicians outed for it. It's possible to be a gay Nazi. Look at Ernst Röhm and Milo Yiannopoulos, or minority/non-white and fascists like Imperial Japan in World War II. No excuses." Okay, first of all, I don't really like the idea of calling anyone you can't prove is a Nazi a collaborator. It's kind of a, well, even if you're not a Nazi, you're still a Nazi kind of argument.
Or Dogpatch Press is the living embodiment of that Antifa guy using Nazi as a cure-all to shout people down. So if you want my advice about garbage polluting a fandom, something dragging it down, so for all of my Brony fans, I want you to imagine if Sathisto from EQD had sex with Lily Pete and they had a baby, and then they spiked it on its head, and then Kero the Wolf
Radio edit.
that baby right in its
Radio edit.
You'd have Dogpatch Press. If you wanted a cancerous tumor eating away at anything that would ever keep your fandom from growing, that would ever only get involved as a means to push Antifa, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dogpatch Press. Also, I do want to argue this point here. The Japanese in World War II weren't Nazis. They were perfectly capable of being racist entirely on their own. Fringe liberals like Dogpatch Press would like you to believe that before Nazis came and after they left, that Japan was just peaceful and a loving nation. I can already hear Dogpatch Press screeching and reeing in the comments as his skinny jeans cut off the blood to his bloated trust fund ass. To the furry fandom, I can tell you, I've seen this disgusting, vile, repulsive behavior before, and ladies and gentlemen, that name is Lily Pete, aka Jerry Pete. I'm saying it now. Respect is earned and it is lost. You are not entitled to it. If you find yourself calling someone like, say, Ashley Zoe Fox, her, after Ashley is actively either through complicity or idiocy at this point, then when anyone questions Ashley Zoe Fox, that Marlon Brando looking motherfucker, remember when Ashley lied about the cops and tried to remove Metokur's video that exposed Kero the Wolf? And only the limp-wristed Antifa garbage like Dogpatch Press would humor shitty, terrible human beings like this. I myself have spent nearly a handful of videos begging Ashley to get on the right page. And I, for one, am done wasting my goddamn time with this dumpy, waddling failure of a man.
See, I think the answer is yes, but you don't want to admit it because then it means he might not be completely in control of his actions in some way. Maybe he's just a weirdo that wears a Nazi armband as a fashion choice and does Nazi salutes to shock people, and he doesn't really understand why it's such a problem. I mean, it's not really such a far-fetched idea, knowing how socially inept the average furry is. You know what, Dogpatch, I'm going to remember this. I'm going to bring it up the next time you say that someone on the left shouldn't be scorned for their actions because they were depressed or having a mental breakdown or whatever. But he doesn't answer my question. He just says he's running a hate group and deserves no defense.
I can't imagine why I'd mistake Dogpatch Press for a card-carrying antifa humping terrorist. I must have just imagined it.
Move on to the reply from Dogpatch Press. Yeah, what if we actually listen to Nazis? Oh cool, we both valued creativity. It was very clever to run Frigga with blah blah blah. Now, the more observant among you may note that I didn't mention listening to the Nazis in my tweet. Yes, I mentioned it in this video, but not in my actual original tweet. So I don't know where he's getting this listening to Nazi business from. He just pulled it out of nowhere, man. I actually called him out on this and said, when did I say we should listen to Nazis? And he dodges the question completely and says, you have a choice. Do what reasonable people do or tell them to go away, or pretend there's two sides.
Dogpatch Press doesn't understand politics. It really is starting to add up that Dogpatch Press can just say Nazi and win an argument in his own mind.
Move on to the reply from Dogpatch Press. Yeah, what if we actually listen to Nazis? Oh cool, we both valued creativity. It was very clever to run Frigga with blah blah blah. Now, the more observant among you may note that I didn't mention listening to the Nazis in my tweet. Yes, I mentioned it in this video, but not in my actual original tweet. So I don't know where he's getting this listening to Nazi business from. He just pulled it out of nowhere, man. I actually called him out on this and said, when did I say we should listen to Nazis? And he dodges the question completely and says, you have a choice. Do what reasonable people do or tell them to go away, or pretend there's two sides. Yeah, there are two sides. It's called left and right. Anyway, so I ask him again, when did I say we should listen to Nazis? He actually responds this time. Your own words. Both sides are as bad as each other. Again, at no point did I say we should listen to Nazis in that. What group is documented as encouraging real-life Nazi activity? Hint, alt-furry. Yeah, well, if I know some of you have seen my previous video documenting the alt-left furries, they've encouraged people to shoot up conventions. So yeah, they're encouraging people to do real-life anarcho-communism.
Now, I don't know anything about all that, but Dogpatch Press sure does sound and say some of the things an Antifa member would say. And Antifa is a terrorist organization, so why I can't prove that Dogpatch Press would endorse such behavior, I wouldn't be surprised as long as he could put down Nazis.
Today with a little old dissection of Dogpatch Press's work. What I learned from lurking in the Furry Raiders chat. A guest post by I don't even pronounce that. Hi, I'm Aristide and I'm at Narc. For the past several months, I've had a sock puppet account in the Furry Raiders Telegram, Skype, and Discord groups, and periodically leak screenshots of them to @EdgeDestroys. I chose Edge in order to protect the credibility of my sock puppet account, and because I work in a sensitive workplace and worry about being doxxed. That's ironic because Dogpatch has actually doxed people he disagrees with. Whoa, it's almost as if you're a hypocrite. Most speculations about the Raiders that they're Nazis, alt-right losers is generally correct. So you can already feel the journalistic credibility. It's not there. Because if you have journalistic credibility, you don't call people losers as a serious argument. But anyway, back to the article. I want to provide a better picture of what we, as a community, are dealing with. Same losers, new politics.
These are some clips from Dogpatch Press is fake news. He uses underhanded tactics, and his only involvement in the Kero drama was to push forth an Antifa agenda, a terrorist organization that, again, as you can see here, is pro-pedophile. Dear Dogpatch Press, I would like to give you the chance to publicly denounce Antifa, apologize for your horrid behavior, and walk out in public, and for once in your life, not go into business for yourself and a dangerous terrorist cell. Backing you or Kira is like asking if I want to be kicked in the right or left testicle, and I think that's where we are about the current situation of the channel. I think maybe I might be able to find the right direction and where I'm going. There's a fandom out there that needs help.Maybe not mine, but I'm going to give it the old college try. Back to my fans in the Bernie fandom. The pie that is the Bernie fandom has unfortunately crumbled. It's not what it was. It's not that I don't see things that I still like in it. There are a lot or enough people spitting out content that now and again I look back fondly and I wish I could turn back the clock. I have no doubt that there are some people still successful in this field. I don't think there's anything left in there for me. UQD has had its day, it's come and gone, and it's never having that day ever again. EQD, even when it had its day, used to have to attach its lips to hacks like draw ponies and only ever stopped featuring them after Horse News outed them. That's all ancient. It's all old shit. It's all old shit. What am I going to tell you? That Sega's sister has raised $10,000 and never left her house? Despite that was the whole point of you people donating her money? That she ripped you guys off? I got more, but it's pretty safe to say that you should know by now that she's a shitty person. It's been covered. I've made it abundantly clear who is trustworthy and who's an annoying fuck. And the people I try to put up with and don't in spite of their flaws and virtues. Problem is, I got too many friends in this community, and having a drama channel in a friendly, easygoing community that's slowly dying or at the very least shrinking, is self-defeating. A while ago, Tommy Oliver did a video. He had a Mountain Dew in his hand where he just gave it to the audience. I always used to joke to British Ninja, just wait, I'm gonna scorch the sky louder and meaner, and here it is. I'm all tapped out. I could likely do 1 or 2 more videos and muster the will. I could rally the troops. We could all pretend it was like 1 or 2 years ago. For a little bit. But it wouldn't last because it was a community where you could look as far as the eye could see. For animation, voice acting, analysis, review. And each one of those feel like they could all be counted on one hand in each field for anyone who has promise. I can only call Dr. Wolf a cheap, insincere fuck so much. And you know what? I think I could keep doing that one. I'm tired of burning the house down. Some of you guys will go, well, good, the house can finally heal. Tyandiga was the last time I saw someone in the analysis community make it big, and he started back in 2014. There will always be good people, Caffatini Productions, Spirit Productions, and Midnight Chimes. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone maybe, 4 to 5 people more. But you used to be able to look through about 20 people easy and know that there will always be more, if you knew where to look. I did forget the artists, and I think artists really breathed new life and kept this boat afloat and kept it above water for as long as they did. We wouldn't have lasted nearly as long if it wasn't for the Dog-Eye Crimsons, the androgynous garbages, the Bubbaboos, the Aganagas, and yes, even the Mimkages. Recent behavior notwithstanding, I could go on and on about artists. I'm not a reviewer for artists, however, but if you want my advice, if you guys can break down and analyze art in the community, you're going to be gold for a long time to come. Again, I do expect to pop back now and again. I think people should keep an eye out there for individuals like Headlong of Equestria. And yes, Headlong, I am putting your name in the trailer. I'm not letting you walk away from this. A 25-year-old man sending a 15-year-old Candy who swaps romantic language with said girl for 2 years and gets shipping art done. Even if that's not illegal, I would deeply encourage Headlong to get a girlfriend who's at least 18 or older.
Teenage cap, just to let you know. Continuing on, he even went as far to have me bring some form of proof. Now that's very interesting, Headlong. You're like, oh, I don't really remember any of this. You're telling me that you carded this girl and you have no memory. What a blissful thing it is to walk through life as innocent as a newborn babe and not be able to remember a fucking ID. How fucking retarded do you expect me to believe that you are?
What?
There's a bunch of tedious bullshit in the Bernie fandom I can get to, and who knows, I might, but I want to weigh in on politics. I want to do some furry drama. I want to do some other things. But don't worry, I'm not going to forget my fans, and if you need my help, I'll be around. And if you fuck up bad enough, trust me, I'm not going anywhere. So till next time, one more time, kick up the band. You know the chorus. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.